is now my 5th car.
I'm sorry.
This is Corey's fault. Jeep Cherokee, also known as the XJ. This is a base model, which is the SE, 4-door, 2-wheel drive, and it has the Straight Six, the 4-liter in it. Corey, that dirty dog, called me while I was at Walmart, and he know a guy that knows a guy that had this for sale. It was too cheap, and I bought it.
Yeah, it was down the street from my parents. It was their neighbor's mother's car.
Grandma's literally grandma's grocery getter.
Yeah.
Not even 80,000 miles on it. It's just about all original other than standard maintenance items at this age. And it's going to get a little refresh, just like I'm doing with the Toyota, although this needs substantially less work. And then I'm going to sell it in the next month or so.
Really?
The more I drive these older cars, the more I'm like, these older cars are better.
Yeah.
The older cars are better. They just are.
It was a different time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. This was near the end of that era where you could get away with stuff like that. I think that's one of the reasons people like it. It's not sophisticated, but man, she runs good. She runs good. Let me show you.
I'm excited to check this out. Like, we looked at it a little bit when you first got it.
Keys.
Real keys.
And when I say it's all manual, I mean to open the second door, you have to reach back there and hit the unlock button. Really, if I wanted to be like Mr. Used Car Guy, Mr. Used Car Dealer, I would replace the bare minimum with the cheapest part and then just dump it and get rid of it. But I'm not going to do that. So I bought this at a good price, and I want the next person to be able to buy it and drive it knowing that all standard maintenance for this sort of age of a vehicle has been done. So it's getting shocks, it's getting brakes, just normal stuff that should be done to cars like this that really don't have to be. Like, it would probably still go another 100,000 miles just making some noise, but still trucking along. But I don't want to do that.
So what's interesting about the Straight Six is the hood is not incredibly long, which is what you normally see in a modern vehicle with a Straight Six, because you've got to have so much room in front of it and behind it.
Crumple zone be damned.
All the room is on the sides here.
Yeah. It's a 4-liter. The current Hurricane is a 3-liter twin turbo, right? Is it twin or a single?
Twin.
Twin. But where this has a major benefit is you can check your own oil with the dipstick. So it's a pretty big deal.
What are you thinking, Stellantis? Come on.
Just give us a dipstick, Stellantis. Let's go drive.
All right. Oh, hey.
It's peppy.
She ready to go.
3-speed. I'll put the power numbers on the screen. Couple words of warning. 1, these are like touring style tires.
Okay.
2, no traction control. 3.
So you're really testing me here. Rainy roads, old car, no safety, die like a real man.
3, completely open rear diff. So you'll do a 1-wheel peel and then it will grab and it will kind of kick you.
Okay.
So drive like it's 98. You can see everything. You want to talk about a fish bowl point of view?
Goodness. I love the visibility out of this. Why did we overregulate to the point that, oh yeah, it's rollover?
I'm not sure.
Would be a problem. There's not much give.
You get a little spinal compression if we roll. The seats feel new.
Yeah.
It drives like it's new.
I am truly impressed. 3-speed makes me laugh.
They had a 3-speed and they had a 4-speed. This is base. It gets base 3-speed.
I laugh when I think of old performance cars like your era Camaro Firebird.
Yeah.
The automatic was a 4-speed automatic. And it's just so funny in today's era of I'm driving a 10-speed right now. And it is ridiculous. It's like we got into an era of how many more can we put in there? How many more can we put in there?
It's a combination of trying to be a little bit quicker and a little bit more efficient. For efficiency, the smaller of a range that a cam profile operates in at its best, the more efficient you are in that range. So if they put 10 gears and they operate at this ideal range, then they can help. Versus this, it's like you only need 3 or 4 gears because your torque band is like 2,000 to 3,000 RPM long of a plateau. Give her the beans right here.
Power ain't a problem with this.
No, it drives. It has just as much pep in its step as any current vehicle, and if you're driving a vehicle that's near this size with like a Turbo 4 or even a modern NA V6, this feels better. It feels immediate power.
I will one-up you. I am driving 2 test vehicles right now.
Oh,
modern vehicles.
fancy pants.
It gets better. One of them is that 10-speed automatic equipped Ford Ranger with a 2.7 EcoBoost V6.
Yeah.
The turbo lag in that is ridiculous and extremely noticeable.
Yeah.
And it makes you kind of wonder, like, what...
We have a turbo 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yeah, where's the power? And very noticeable in that. I am also in a $175,000 luxury Range Rover.
Yeah, what does that have
with
under
a
the hood?
turbocharged V8 under the hood.
Yep.
And it too stutters in stop and go traffic. This is
It
ready
goes.
to go.
They're trying to narrow down the peak torque band because by narrowing down the cam profiles and relying on turbo to make up for it, which works, but then you're waiting all day on the turbo. I'd go straight if you want.
It's ready to go. I push the gas and it goes.
And it goes.
There is a reason so many brands are now going back, including Chrysler, Stellantis, whatever you want to call them now.
They're overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
But they're going back to the straight 6. The suspension.
There's some body roll.
This is some body roll. Whee! There it goes. There it goes. She gets up and runs.
What the heck?
This
throws out, like, we have thoroughly overcomplicated modern vehicles, and this is the proof of it. There's no reason why a 3-speed automatic naturally aspirated engine should feel so much better than those 2 vehicles I just referenced.
It feels like a little V8. The torque band feels like it's immediate. It's right there.
Can we see how it does at speed?
Yeah, let's get it up. Let's get it up to 65. If I had older children, this would be near the top of the list for first car. Except they'd probably crash it, so I wouldn't let them drive it. First car should be a beater, especially if you're a boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
the
your boy is
terrible
going to be a problem.
He's already a problem. You can put your foot all the way down if you like. It's textured paper.
It is. Again, it's not a drag racer. It is an old Jeep. But it doesn't feel like a fat guy in a gym sweating as soon as you turn the machine on.
Rear trunk space, rear hatch. I'll let you do the honors. It does require a key like everything else. I think that was it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm going to bring this with me then.
Hydraulics, still got plenty of pressure in them.
My goodness.
Original spare.
Woo, talk about pizza cutter.
Yeah, this is a spare. Not a, was driving around for a minute like, go straight to the shop.
Yeah, but the great news is, being that it is back here in the cargo compartment, space saving.
It's out of the way.
Space saver spare. But again, talking about the regulations, I can see those windows are huge. If you built this same shape by modern regulations, that window would be about this big.
Yeah, you have a huge D-pillar for rollover safety.
And you would have none of this space back here. None, because it's all...
crumple zone, side impacts.
This is impressive. Oh my goodness.
So the second row lays down flat, and it's just a huge cavernous space back there. Tons of storage room. I mean, there's a reason they use these for mail carriers.
Still, to this day.
There's still some of these floating around.
Yeah.
They're incredibly reliable. They're cheap to fix when they break. That engine shares parts from way back, because it started as like an AMC motor. I believe it was like a 3.4 and then maybe a 3.8, but now it's ended up as a 4-liter. And then you can stroke it all the way out to 4.6 on a stock block.
Wow. Let's talk about the overall design of it. It is a box because that was the cheap way to make vehicles. There wasn't all this hydro molding and all this other stuff. Flat panels, made for cheap. We've got rain channels.
Rain channels. This is pretty much a G-Wagon if you don't think about it. You don't think about it.
I love it. It's clean, simple.
It's just, this is a 2-wheel drive time capsule. That's really who's probably going to buy this and be really happy with it. You know, my mom had one, my dad had one. They took it to work. I just want to get in it and drive it and remember what it was like back when these were new, because this is so close to being original, and the things I'm changing are back to original. That it's gonna be like a little mini time machine for somebody, and that's probably what I'm most excited for, because I didn't grow up with one of these. I mean, they were everywhere, especially this color combo was everywhere, but I didn't personally have one in the family, but someone did, and someone's probably searching for one, and this one's gonna make them really happy after just a handful of maintenance items.
I'm excited to see what you do to it.
Let's go see if she'll do a donut. I bet she will, Corey. I bet she'll do a donut. One wheel will.
One wheel peel?
One wheel peel.
All right, let's see. Actual key. There I am, putting my foot on the brake again.
You don't need to do that.
I'm not even putting the seatbelt on.
Yeah, I don't care.
Real man, we die without a seatbelt. Like.